Yeah, I can't help but think about the first sort of memes we bonded on. Like I
Mm.
think that was a dubbed meme in Pashto or something. Me, you, and Afaq bonded on that. Yeah. For me, is this recent one, right? Like the one in which the P Diddy is like driving a bike and उसपे
उस बेवफा के जख्मों पर मरहम लगाने हम गए.
जख्मों पे मरहम लगाने हम गए. My memory with Home Alone is that when I saw Kevin having uh, marshmallows and ice cream in that hotel in Home Alone 2, I was like, that's the life I want to live. So every time now,
Oh my.
my entry points to hip hop was uh, Talha Anjum's Balli Aur Main, in which he tells a story of his alter ego who's named Balli and who's doing crime out of like poverty. I think creativity is a muscle that you have to exercise. Like if I
Because
get an idea and start working on it, I'll get so many more ideas.
hello, welcome to Life's Tapestry. I am Muhammad Haris and I'm joined by Rija Alam. Hello, Rija.
Hi, Harish.
So today we are going to talk to one of my very close friends whom I met when we were starting out as an NTHP students back in 2019, and I've known him ever since, and I think he has joined us.
Hello,
So,
hello, hello, guys. How are you?
hello.
What's up?
Hi, hi, Babar.
Hi, Rija. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
How's
So yeah, we were
everything?
just talking about you.
Should I
Uh,
leave?
No,
yeah,
no.
no, no,
अच्छा अच्छा
no, I don't think you should leave. Yeah, so just telling कि हाँ मतलब how the first time I met you were in the NTHP.
Yeah,
Even though we were in the same college, I don't know if you know
yeah,
this or not. So we were in the same college for two
yeah,
years, and we didn't know each other. It
yeah,
was only when we and also in THP, I think it was like by the kind of like by the end of THP session, like the 2 month session. By the end of it, I think I actually started like talking to you
yeah,
and getting to know you and all. Uh,
yeah.
so yeah,
Damn, it's such a nice memory to revisit.
I mean we have
Yeah,
had a lot of fun, like even those 2 months
yeah,
and after.
yeah, man.
And yeah, I think it's a cool thing, to get out of your house, get out of your like hometown, wherever you are living, and just
Yeah,
just go out and just be in different places, like how we went to Karachi and we lived with, and I think in NTH we have like 300 people, I think at that time at least were, and
yeah.
to live with all those people, it's just an amazing experience. You come across all sorts of people. I mean, we talk about there a lot, like different people. So
Yeah. Yeah, I can't help but think about the first sort of memes we bonded on. Like I
mm,
think that was a dubbed meme in Pashto or something. Me, you, and Afaq bonded on that. Yeah.
yeah, I remember those. Yeah, I think they've
Yeah.
deleted it or something now, but those were funny as well.
Yeah.
That's so cute, guys. You must have gone on the trip as well. Like the trip at the end of NTHP when you have all like secured your
Yeah.
admissions and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
did.
we did actually. We did.
Where did you go? I don't think Harsh has ever told me about the time where he went on that trip.
Before,
So,
I think before the trip, it's like important to mention we almost missed our bus because of Haris.
what?
We,
remember this.
yeah,
When did this happen?
yeah, yeah, sure, sure. You obviously
Like,
don't remember it,
honestly,
right?
honestly, I don't. Oh no 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 no!
So what
It was
happened?
it was
Like,
in
I'll
THP
tell.
when THP ended.
Yeah. So NTHB sessions ended. and now we are supposed to leave by bus in the morning, me and Haris, right? And what happens is that this guy, now it's important to mention that at that night everybody's like dancing and stuff, and like there's drums in that room. And Haris like made me think, oh, you can sleep, and he'll wake up with the sound of alarm. This guy didn't budge with all those drums and everything, right? Khair, I
Wow.
was up, I went to him, and then I think one of us lost the key or something, and they
Yeah,
wouldn't let
you.
us go, leave without
Yeah.
handing them the key. So yeah, we almost missed our bus, but yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he told me that will have to wake up at 7 in the morning. So I told him,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the matlab, I just wake up by alarm all the time. He's like, okay. Now what happened that at the night they were proper partying in the hall, right? And he woke me up like around 7. I think a bit of before 7, like like 6:45 or something like that. And he was like, "What the hell is up with you?" I was like, "Dude, what happened?" He's like, there was a person banging on like a like a dhol in right at your head, and you were just sleeping. You were not like budging. So
So,
yeah, it was crazy. Uh, but yeah, I think we did catch the bus. Yeah,
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah, we
so
did.
where were you guys going? Like, what was the trip all about? Like,
We
was it
were
a
coming
multiple
back.
stop trip or
No,
like?
no, actually, we were coming back from the THP, and I remember on the way, like we are
Yeah.
coming back, we have like got admission and everything. Everything is set there, and we're just coming back for like a week or something, and then we'll have to go back and just start like proper university. And on the way home, like it's a long ride, obviously, like 16, 20
Yeah.
hours something. Uh, we received our FSC results. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I
You
do.
were so casual about it. You were like, yeah, whatever. Matlab, because
Yeah.
like the minimum criteria is 60%. You're like, 60% तो आ ही गया होगा, matlab.
Yeah. And the trip that Rija is talking about, that was the trip that we took to Murray. So what NTHP does is that by the end of like first semester, they take you up north to Murray, and there's this youth development center in Murray. So they take you there. There you have like a few sessions with different uh, guest speakers, different bureaucrats, I would say, because some of
Mm.
them were public servants. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
and I mean, it was an eventful trip. I remember uh, there was this one person that you apparently offended some way, like the teacher where then everyone's talking about it. Like, what was that thing? Do you
I
remember
don't
that?
actually remember it.
Yeah, actually, there was this one person who like he's kind of like an older kind of guy who was like probably like a lecturer or something. So they had invited him to a lecture. So now what happens? Okay, the guy's like full of himself. Obviously, he's like a very like very well achieved kind of person. And he's talking about himself and he's saying something. I don't remember exactly what he was saying. But I think you questioned it. You questioned him on something. He got offended and went and complained. It became like a whole thing. Do you remember any of that?
We were really unhinged, man. Like if I think about that time, we were really unhinged.
I think he was talking about something. He's like like a very basic thing, like a skill. What's the definition of a skill? This is the definition of a skill. And Power is like, no, this is not. It's actually this. And actually, matlab, everyone else in the class are like, हाँ, मतलब Babar is right. He's saying the right thing. तो वो बंदा ना बहुत वो हो गया वो what do you
Like
call it
offend.
मतलब ऑफेंड नहीं वो अरे कच्चा हो गया मतलब पुख्तों के खालक में कच्चा शो
Yeah.
नहीं, उर्दू में भी कच्चा ही होता है.
सही होता है अच्छा तो he became that ना तो he like took it seriously and went and complained to everyone कि आप you the students are kind of rude here या जो भी but I think he has a knack for doing these sort of things. Now, in university, we had class with what was that guy, that old guy who used to teach us pro?
Shahid Veer, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So Shahid me used to talk about things, but it wasn't like he wasn't teaching from a book or something. It was all from his experience. So he was like an old person, so obviously. अब क्या करता है वो? He's like, यार, the biryani in Karachi is better than the biryani in Lahore. Why is that? And everyone's like this, that, and then eventually he's like, no, it's because of the water. Karachi, there's something in Karachi's water that makes the biryani more tasteful than Lahore. So if you want to
Yeah.
start like a biryani shop in Lahore, what should you do? It was all about like transportation and stuff like these he was teaching us. So he went like, you know what? What you'll do? You'll have to make biryani in Karachi, and then you'll put it in a plane, and it will fly to Lahore. And Bawal raised and was like, what? Like, sir, why don't we put water in the plane and shift it to Lahore, and then just make biryani there? Crazy stuff, yeah.
एक
क्या
बार
होता है? Oh,
एक बार
yeah,
क्या होता है कि uh, अब this guy has this obsession with finding problems and then proposing solutions to those, right? And so he is now standing right to the projector screen, or I think, and the projector screen had like this remote or this button, right? He would press it and it would, like, the downward, uh, like, pointing arrow would make the projector screen go down, and then likewise, like, for the upward directed arrow, right? अब he's like, see, इधर एक मसला है, आप नीचे वाला दबाते हैं तो ये ऊपर जाता है, और ऊपर वाला दबाते हैं तो ये नीचे आता है. And then somebody just points out कि सर वो उल्टा हुआ है, it's just working fine, it's just that वो उल्टा हुआ है.
बोर्ड उल्टा हो गया था.
Yeah.
वो ये बता रहा था, he was saying कि we are part of the problem, you are not part of the solution. Look at this thing. If you click the ऊपर वाला, it goes down. If you press the नीचे वाला, it goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's this one thing about it. I mean, it's like talking a lot about this guy, but
Yeah.
if you remember one time this happened, na, his class used to be from 12:30 to 1,
Yeah.
right? And it was, I think it was 12:10, 12:10
Yeah.
the clock, and this guy is teaching, all of a sudden he stopped. He's like, 2 बज गए क्या? 15 मिनट पढ़ा रहा था. यार, crazy guy. Share, so like
Or how's life going, guys? How's everything?
everything is good. मतलब just you know a lot's going on here. Like in ये है कि just kind of keeping ourselves busy. But
Yeah.
that's yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So ये है और is Rija here or not? You're mute, by the way. Here.
Yeah, yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I have a call from my boss. I'll just join you guys a second.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
sure.
no
That's
worries. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what
So
corporate brings you
yeah,
to.
exactly. That's like
Yeah.
working on Sunday, even. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm sure they don't have this in your office. Matlab, you do
No, no, no,
something
no, no,
on
no. You are so
Sunday, but
wrong.
like
We
you get
have
off here. So.
exactly this in our office.
Oh,
So आज सुबह मैं घर आया हूँ कोई 4 बजे. I was out with friends and all. So at 4 a.m. I get a text from a client कि oh, the menu is not right and all. I like
hmm.
I can't be asked abhi. I called him. I like let me get back to you on Monday. Monday we'll set up a call and we'll go through it. But yeah, if there's work, there's work, right?
Hmm.
With
I think
client-facing work, it's like there are no days
yeah.
off. You
Yeah,
just
I
have
think
to do
that
what
makes
you have
sense.
to do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like if you have to work with someone external,
Yeah.
then there's higher chance because I think in Rija's case, she has to work with vendors or sometimes with her sales team who also works
Right.
on Saturday. So I think it's kind of related. Like in my company, it's I don't know. My company is a bit like laid back, honestly.
Yeah, but it also depends on, like, if the people you are working with are from the same culture and have like same days off, they would understand. For
Hmm.
Others, it's not like that, right?
Hmm.
And since I work mostly with restaurants, so restaurants have like no days off.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, makes sense.
that's also one thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that makes sense. Bilkul. Uh, so yeah, I mean, talking about corporate world and all this, we talk about this a lot. You know that I'm not sure if Rija can relate to this, but not really sure if I should say this in public space. But you know how like the kind of like your manager or the rest of the senior management, they just don't know what's going on, and if you're trying to nudge them in the right direction, they just have no idea at times. You know, and just working with such people, it's it just makes you realize like if I
Yeah.
was on my own, I would have done a lot better.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think these are all tools of mediocrity, like these guys and like big teams, or maybe it's just about like the kind of attitude we have that we feel held back by these teams. And like we like I'll speak about myself. I really want to do work on my own and like own up to it, have the full autonomy and like the accountability of that thing. But yeah, I think there's no escaping the teams, but you have to
mm,
work with them.
exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true. Um, yeah. So there's something we just talked about, like in the beginning. You know how like memes and things like these were something we bond over. You know, like funny videos and memes and
yeah,
all these things. Uh, right now, like in the current times,
right.
when you want to have a laugh or something, what do you go to? Like, do you open your Instagram, watch something? What is it that you do?
It's not like that. Uh, what do you say? It's not like that calculated. That, for example, if I want to have a laugh, what will I do? Instagram has honestly just become a part of, you can say, the muscle memory. Like how just
Uh,
you scroll the thumb. It has become part of
Absolutely
that,
got it.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and I think I need some stimulus before like going to sleep, or maybe it's like
And
not the
also
right way,
like
but
after you wake up.
yeah, I can't sleep without like scrolling Instagram for a while.
I feel like I saw this. I don't know if it was an article or like a reel maybe, but people will have like people scrolling or people like engaging with content such as like YouTube videos or something. It's a form of winning back your time, like winning back your control that you lost during the day. You're like, oh matlab, I couldn't take time out for myself during the day and
Yeah,
spend time doing things that I love. And then you have
yeah,
this algorithm that's so perfect for you. So it's just made for you. It's just things
yeah,
that you like, and you just like. It's so easy to indulge in that, and I feel like that's why some people who maybe have less self control, they'll just be scrolling for hours and just like ignoring the
yeah,
clock while they're laying in bed. And I feel like I'm also one of those people, 100%.
I
But
think it's
this is, I think, one of our ways to win that control back.
I
yeah.
think it's
That
not
makes
even
so much
about
sense.
self-control at this point. It's just how self-aware, how quickly you become self-aware, because it's everyone is in the same boat, and um, when you like once start scrolling down, you need it, that nudge of self-awareness, like, oh shit, what am I doing,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
about that now. Like it's not even everyone is kind of like addicted to scrolling, like this numbing scrolling, this thing
yeah,
everybody's addicted to at this point.
yeah. And it has become such an inseparable part of our like social culture, you can say. Like it's just there, like you just can't escape it right now, even if
Mhm.
you're like interacting physically with people. Even then people would be talking about something that would be like a callback to something they have seen online. For example,
Exactly.
that day we were
100%.
bawling out. Yeah,
There's another
we-
thing, like you talk about the social aspect of it, nah. There's also the
yeah,
social aspect of sending people memes back and forth. You don't even like talk to people, but you somehow like keep in connection with them just by sending them memes every
Yeah,
single day.
Yeah, I think it's like the 2025 version of, Snapchat streaks. Like I
yeah,
know people were still really into Snapchat and stuff, but a while back, Snapchat streaks, like random, like, oh, like a black screen
yeah,
with a S on it, would be
yeah,
a way of staying connected with people that you don't talk to often anymore.
yeah,
And now the same is the case with like Instagram reels and content that you're just
yeah.
sending back and forth.
And it
Exactly.
has
And
also become like this level of friendship, right? Like if somebody sends you reels, you feel like you have unlocked the premium level or something.
yeah, it does. And sometimes this happens, na? Like sometimes a person sends you real with you're not like very good friends with them or anything. But if they
Yeah.
Oh
send you
my
real,
god.
you suddenly start feeling that like, huh,
Yeah.
yaar, maybe like, this is like some like yeah,
क्या
we're
मैं
good
इतना
friends or
इम्पोर्टेंट हूँ क्या?
something.
Yeah, like, am I that
Yeah.
important to you? Are you supposed to be important to me?
Yeah, like am I missing something? Like,
हाँ,
so modern problems, of like
yeah.
care.
What have we come to? Like क्या है ये?
Yeah.
But honestly, it's so funny at times. It's just the funniest thing you can hear.
Exactly. Like, and I know, like, I really want to ask both of you something. What's your favorite meme? Like that meme template is authentic. What's your favorite? Like,
Okay, maybe it's my love for cats, but the cats, like the happy cat, like happy, happy, happy,
yeah, I
and
know
then
it.
like the whole meow bucks take on it by Crumble. All of these things. I think it's a
Oh,
very versatile type of meme. Like the
hmm,
cat GIFs turning into a whole storyline.
exactly.
Yeah. For
What
me,
about
it's
you?
for me it's this recent one, right? Like the one in which the P Diddy is like driving a bike and उसपे
उस बेवफा के जख्मों पर मरहम लगाने हम
जख्मों
गए
पे मरहम लगाने हम गए.
Yeah, yeah. Someone,
नहीं
I
बेटा
think.
मरहम की जगह मरहम गए. I
Acha,
like
I
how
didn't even know about this one until like yesterday when
uh,
Haris showed it to me, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
एंड उसमें कुछ भी लिखा होता है. आई वाज लुकिंग एट दिस वन के सोचता था कि सब ऑफिस छोड़ के जाएंगे तो रहेगा कौन. अब पता चला कि कौन रहेगा.
कौन करेगा. This is something now. I
Yeah.
asked you this because I just remembered that one meme that we used to laugh at a lot, and it was like a very short-lived meme. And it was कि that meme where the person said technique ही गलत है तुम्हारी. And actually, I liked it for the thing. Like they would write something like um, Rutherford builds an atomic model. Neil Bohr
Yeah,
technique
boy.
ही गलत है तुम्हारी.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was also one of the good ones. Yeah. Uh, Apart from that, like talking about memes, there was this trend these days of the Ghibli studio. I don't even know how to. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Ghibli or Ghibli studio,
Ghibli.
and
Yeah.
people were creating a lot of, just not. It's not creating artwork, but yeah, like
Yeah.
ChatGPT was creating something for them, like
Yeah.
imitating that kind of art style.
Yeah.
And I mean, like we also talked about it, I think. So just talking about arts in general, I mean, I asked you, have you watched any of their movies? Because I think a day or two before this thing became a trend, me and Rija
Yeah.
watched one of their movies. It's called Spirited Away,
Yeah.
and it was just amazing. Like we have been planning on watching.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
So like you also love watching movies and all. So
Yeah.
just if you can talk a little, what kind of movies do you like, and
Yeah.
what it means for you watching a movie?
Let's go. This is my favorite topic. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I had watched one of his movies like long ago, The Wind Rises. And it's about this boy who has this dream of creating a aeroplane, right?
Hmm.
And then I later on discovered the genius of Hayao Miyazaki, and I was like, okay, oh, this guy made that movie.
Hmm.
I watched
Hmm.
Spirited Away, and I think I recently watched Howl's Moving Castle as well. And he's just so good. He's just so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I have to speak about the kind of movies I like to watch, so that would be mostly crime thrillers, right? But I sometimes like the absolute mindfuck movies. You know, those movies that like leave you stunned, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, have you guys watched Old Boy?
No, no, we haven't. But it's
Right,
in my list. Like I've been planning on
right,
watching sometime. Yeah.
right. You're missing out big time. First of all, like that movie I watched, and I remember I used to be in Karachi at that time, and nobody was in the apartment at that time, and I watched it like the TV lounge, and उसके बाद I'm just sitting there like credits चल रहे हैं and I couldn't like fathom कि ये मैंने क्या देख लिया है. Like it's very disturbing, but it's like an end you would never expect. It's something so crazy. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
I
felt the
like
same way about Seven. I watched it and I was just sitting there and
Seven,
I was like,
yes.
what did I just do with myself?
I
Like,
yeah.
recently watched the unsus वो क्या था? Suspected. What's the movie? Usual Suspects.
The usual suspects, yeah,
Yeah,
Kaiser
Usual
Soze,
Suspects. Yeah, Kaiser. So it
yeah,
has like the same thing, and you figure out
yeah,
once the credit starts rolling. Now that's when like it hits you. Oh, like oh,
yeah.
this was it all the time,
The
and
ending
uh,
scene of that movie where
it's
he flicks
yeah,
his leg, and it's
exactly. Huh.
yeah, that's too good.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh,
So
you remember us watching The Departed?
yeah, I remember it
How
watching it in
insane
the
that was.
TV room there. We
Yeah,
would pause it, we would just pause it and we'd just start discussing it, like what just
yeah,
happened? Like did you get it? And
yeah,
it was like after every 10-20 seconds there was some twist in the movie. You had to pause it
yeah,
and see like, oh, so it's going that way now.
yeah. Has Rija watched The Departed?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay. It's one of the best movies, yeah. It's one of the
Exactly.
very good movies.
Yeah.
We yeah. We have this movie night thing with my friends here. So we watch a movie every Thursday. And it was initially on Thursday, now it's on Wednesdays. But like every Wednesday, the four of us get together, watch a movie, order food from outside. And yeah, we have like this thing of deciding movies by rock, paper, and scissors, and even ordering food by that. So yeah, it's something that has become a ritual, and I'm a big fan of routine. So yeah, it's amazing.
I think that rock, paper, scissor element
Exactly, I
is
was about to
essential
say.
because sometimes
Yeah.
you're just sitting there trying to decide and like
Yeah,
your food's getting
yeah,
cold and you're just like you're not able to decide. And
yeah.
And you're like,
Indecisiveness.
screw it,
Yeah.
I'll just watch Penguin.
Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, I mean, the other day we were trying to watch a movie and then we were like, screw it, we'll just watch that animated, it's like a comedy type thing.
Yeah.
wow.
So, have you
So,
guys
yeah.
watched Triangle?
No, I haven't
I
heard of this one.
Triangle I saw on an Instagram reel, and somebody was putting it in the same list that I enjoy, like with Old Boy, Incendies, and like
Oh,
that list. I had like, wait, I haven't heard of this one. And then we watched it, and it's so amazing. It's like a continuous loop.
oh,
And
but I
yeah,
think yeah, I mean, it's good if you decide beforehand what you want to watch, or if you just do like the rock, paper, scissor type thing and just watch it like that.
yeah,
I just saves you a lot of time. Um,
yeah, it
yes,
does.
talking about like movies, have you guys watched Slumdog Millionaire?
I have Salim.
Slumdog Millionaire is also like an amazing movie. I think it's has like the
Yeah,
record amount of Oscars, and it's
yeah,
crazy. Like just and it doesn't have like that twist type thing, but it's just there's just
it
like a
is
lot of
so
mystery
real.
in it. There's a lot of mystery in it that will just make you keep watching. Um, and just like amazing, and how they showed India, because it was
Yeah,
it was like based in India and all. It's like a
yeah,
Hollywood movie still based in India, so
yeah,
that was even nice. And I think overall it just covered so many things, like from
yeah. And I
like
think it, Mhm.
political to kind of like the economic things, people living in poverty. It was just everywhere, and I think that
Yeah.
was the beauty
Yeah.
of it. It was amazing. Yeah.
Is there any movie for you guys that you wish you could experience for the first time? Like you
Oh,
could just watch it with fresh eyes again.
amazing question. I think,
Hmm.
yeah, you guys go ahead if you have an answer. I think I might have to think.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's
Like for me, I think it would be like a classic, like so I'm really into animated movies. And
Mm.
if there was a movie that I would want to watch like with fresh eyes again, it would probably be Inside Out, like the series.
Yeah, it's so good.
And it's
Yeah,
so good, like you're watching it, you're going through it, and you go through everything with her, and it's just
yeah,
like really nice to see a visual representation of all your emotions. And
yeah.
yeah, so I feel like that would be one of the movies for me. What about you
I
guys?
I think I would go with Shawshank Redemption. You
Oh,
know,
good
because
Mm.
one.
I mean I can watch it again and again. It still feels good, but
Yeah,
watch it the first time, now that feeling is
yeah,
obviously completely different. Because I mean, if you watch it again, you know what's happening, what's going to happen, but it still feels
yeah,
good. But when you're watching the first time, you are just it just
yeah,
you wouldn't expect it to go that way. And it's the kind of movie you have to watch twice, because you
yeah,
were missing all the cues in the first place, because once the
yeah,
movie is
yeah,
finished, you're like, oh shit, I should watch it again and see, like. And when
yeah,
you watch it again, you see all the cues that lead up to that thing, but you just missed it. So
yeah.
I think, yeah, that's the movie I would like to watch again.
I think for me it would be The Departed or The Shutter Island. The Departed because I like
Mm.
the thrill I experienced that at that point, and the Shutter Island, yeah, the same thing with that as well. It was just amazing, and I feel like if I could experience that same thing again, that would be amazing. With Shawshank Redemption, I've watched it multiple times, and each and every single time it's amazing. You know that scene where he buys those beers for his friends, and they're
Oh,
like sitting on the rooftop, and he's
rooftop,
just
yeah.
smiling, not drinking. That's like one of my favorite scenes in like the whole of cinema. That's an
Mm,
amazing scene, yeah.
exactly. I think one of my favorite joke uh, would be the one that the person says, "Okay, if I were you, I would have eyes in my bag." So the person replies, and he's like, "I don't suppose it would be of any help if I tell them I'm not homosexual." So Andy, the red, replies, "Okay,
Yeah.
neither are they. You need to be human. They don't qualify." When I saw
Yeah.
that, I was like, "Shit, yeah, this is some like good writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, let's talk about like iconic movies from like your childhood. Like, we've been talking about movies that we got to know when we had like refined tastes and we knew what we liked and all of
Yeah.
that. But like movies that make us feel nostalgic or just bring our childhood back. Like you sit and watch it again. So my one uncle, the one that drives me to work, we have this thing where he plays like he old classics like Home Alone and like Baby's Day Out
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I mean, like I had forgotten about those movies, and with them
Yeah.
I'd forgotten a part of myself, like back then
Yeah.
the person I used to be, and I would be sitting with my khalas and like my cousins, and I would watch these movies. So are there any such movies for you that bring your childhood back or like have this very important nostalgic uh element attached to them?
Yeah. Home Alone is that movie. So I have a thing with Home Alone. What I do is every December, like this Christmas week, I would watch Home Alone. like Home Alone first, then Home Alone 2, and then on the third week I would maybe watch Die Hard. But Home Alone, like my memory with Home Alone is that when I saw Kevin having uh, marshmallows and ice cream in that hotel in Home Alone 2, I like that's the life I want to live. So every time
Yeah.
now
Oh my God.
I watch it, I'll order a pizza or I'll get an ice cream, and yeah, that's something that I do every winters.
I think for me it would be there was back when I don't know if Pogo is like still a thing or not, but it used to be like a very popular channel back in the day. And so we used to watch Chota Beam and all these on Pogo.
Yeah.
So there used to be this movie they used to run a lot of time. It was called Bhoot Uncle. I
Oh
don't know
my
if any
God,
of
Oh,
Bhoot Uncle.
I don't know if
okay.
anyone of you have watched the movie,
No, I
but
don't.
it was about uh, like some kids, like not even teenagers, kids proper, and they were on
Friends
vacation
with
at
a
some
ghost and
house.
stuff.
Yeah, and they became friends with a ghost, and there's like a treasure somewhere inside this, like weird dark place, cave type thingy, and they have to go through that. But the ghost person can't go, but they have to go, and the ghost person is just by it, but it kind of like gives them the tools they would need. And it's more like an adventure type. They go. If you have watched like what's the movie? The person with the whip, John. What is it? But here it
Which
is.
one?
It's like Indiana Jones. So it's more like Indiana Jones
Right.
type movie, huh? But it's for kids. So I
Wow.
think that's gonna be the reason is that they used to run it again and again. So I'm sure I've watched it like more than once. So yeah,
Yeah.
this and other like obviously Home Alone, Baby Day Out movies like these that
Yeah.
we
I
used to
used to
Also,
watch.
like
like Harry
CID a lot.
Potter.
Harry Potter I didn't watch as a kid. I watched it as an adult. Like it was very
Really?
college, so I started
Yeah.
watching Harry Potter. So, but I still liked it a lot. Matlab, it's the first movie or the first two movies are very kids centric, but the rest of them, obviously, the audience I suppose grew. I mean, obviously they grew with time, so they just kind of changed the
Yeah.
the plot accordingly. Matlab, made it like a bit more serious with time. But I know talking about like childhood. I mean, there's something that comes to mind. Like बचपन में
I
things were
watched
easier.
I watched
Yeah.
Harry Potter when I went to university, and there I watched it. And since like I didn't have that nostalgic element associated with it, I couldn't really grasp the hype, Like it was
Hmm.
like, okay, I don't get it. So I think I just watched the first two ones and then I didn't continue because for me I couldn't get it. Like there are things that make sense in your childhood and it then carries on and you still like them. For example, for me, Home Alone 2 would be that movie
Hmm.
that if you
Hmm.
watch it right now for the first time, it wouldn't be that amazing. But since there's memory associated with it and nostalgia, so I think that makes it special.
True,
Exactly.
true,
I
true.
think with
A hundred
Harry
percent.
Potter, it's probably, I mean, it has to do with the fact that the first two movies were way more kids centric, but also, I mean, when it comes to fantasy, you might even like one fantasy universe, but you might just think the other is ridiculous. So I guess it's just like it's very subjective, like what you choose
Yeah,
to believe in, because you might go like believe in magic on one hand, but on the other hand, in another show, you might believe, yeah, dragons. I mean, dragons are amazing. Like so. I guess it's just with fantasy, it's more about this. Like sometimes it's just like this is ridiculous. I can't do this. But like I know for sure that you love Game of Thrones a lot.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's fantasy, the dragons and all
yeah,
those things. Uh, but yeah, that's something that you don't find is ridiculous, and I guess it's just like very subjective when it comes to what kind of fantasy. And I mean, I also like makes sense totally. Uh, I think another thing with fantasy is that with time you just get very, like you just go deep into it, and there's just like then that attachment now, like even for Harry Potter, if you watch the whole movies or read all of the books, then that it will just stick with you for the rest of your life, and you have to, you just engage too much in it that it just you have stopped believing, yeah, this is like a fake story, like that's how
Yeah,
people talk about even like Game of Thrones or Joe be like Marvel and all these. You see how some people talk about it like it's real, okay, what if this has
yeah,
happened, that has happened.
yeah. And yeah, I think like biases blind our objectivity, right? So every time, like for example, you have a good memory associated with something, even if that's not like objectively the best movie or something, you would still think, oh, it's really good. And that's my like that's an argument I used to have with friends that, for example, the Shah Rukh Khan whole Bollywood run of movies. Since
Hmm.
I'm watching it, Abhi, I'd never watched it in my bachpan. So, Abhi, I don't get the hype. But to people, it's so special. It's so like close to them because they have watched it around that time when it wasn't hype.
For us,
It,
I
like
know, right?
Shah
I
Rukh
feel
Khan
the
is
same.
amazing.
yeah,
Like, he's like an amazing celebrity, but
yeah,
to me, it's just like he says it himself. Like he doesn't act.
yeah,
I think he said it in an
yeah,
interview. He doesn't act. He overacts. He's like in Bollywood, we don't act. We overact. So even he knows that he's not a good actor. But I mean, and I
yeah, I
don't
know
get it.
this.
I would never be able to get it. But I see some people who are just completely obsessed with his
Yeah,
work and his personality and just everything about him.
yeah,
So it
Also,
makes sense
like,
to some people, others it doesn't. Yeah.
also these movies are heavily scored. Like they'll have
yeah.
so many songs in them, and
Song,
I
yeah.
remember like back then people would like sit through, not only sit through, like watch those songs and like memorize the choreography, and they'd be obsessed. But if I watch these movies now, I always skip through the songs, even though I know that they'll probably be like, advancing the plot through those songs, but I
Hmm.
just cannot sit through them. They're just so annoying now.
I think
Yeah,
also due to lack of content. Now you have YouTube, just go YouTube, listen to T series or something. But I guess at that times it was uh yeah, the lack of content that way. And yeah, so talking about, I mean, we are talking about childhood and all this. So there's something I want to talk about. Like when you guys were little, you had like a perception of what adult life would look like, you know?
yeah.
And now that we all have grown up, what's like how was that perception, and is it the same? Are or is it like completely different? Are you like, oh shit, what I got myself into by growing up? You know?
Hmm. Ajay, this is a question we recently I discussed with two of my friends. We were walking and we were just discussing stuff like this. And I like my question at that point was that like your previous self, right? Like 10-12 साल पहले वाला जो आपका version होगा, would he be happy with where you are? And when I thought to myself, you know what? I think I've done like fairly good uski nazron mein. He would be like really happy with where I am. And like I think he would find me really cool in terms of where I've been and what I'm doing like with work and everything, right? I don't think so he would have any clue if of this the kind of work I'm doing. Because at that point he had no clue. He just wanted to be a pilot or something and later on an engineer. But I think if I tell him right now that this is okay, this is what you're gonna be, and this is where you will be living, this is the kind of friends you will have, I think he'll be really happy, you know?
Yeah, I think there's one thing, because sometimes with people this happens that they're like, when we were kids, things were easier, things were better, I was happier. Is it
Yeah.
the same for you? Like for me, it isn't. I don't know. Like maybe it's like some unpopular kind of opinion, but for me, it isn't. Uh, so what about you? Like, I mean, obviously, you had some perception of, okay, oh, being adult means. let's say, a lot more freedom or this and that, and how did it turned out now? Is it like better or you know?
Hmm. Is somebody going to answer that, or should I do?
Oh, well, you're the guest, so I was assuming you should answer first.
All right, all right. um, uh, yeah, I think that person imagined that all his limitations, let's say, with, for example, having not enough money or not enough freedom, right? That would go away once he's like elder. But I think if I look at it and I imagine like my adulthood to be like this, where I'll have a lot of freedom and a lot of less things to worry about because there will be money and shit. But now, if I think about it, I think that's so like it's so contrasting when I think about it now and the kind of life I have uh, at the moment. I think growing old is more about, like dealing with a lot of stress, even seeing your close ones go or seeing them get weak, right? And like even seeing your friends like just falling apart or like something's happening to them, losing people and stuff like that. So I think it's much more emotionally taxing once you are in the on this side of the age. So yeah, I think it was I didn't had a clue about this part.
Hmm. I think yeah. You
I
you
saw that meme that
which,
अब
which one?
समझ आ रहा है कि अब्बा ऑफिस से आके सबकी कुटाई क्यों करते थे
Oh my
because
God.
because now you understand that there is so much stress and all कि हाँ fair enough for them.
But yeah, I think the point where you said कि हाँ, like it's more emotionally taxing.
Yeah,
I think yeah, that's the highlight of it. कि हाँ, it's
yeah,
just more emotionally taxing, and also yeah, I mean, growing up means also letting go of a lot of things and
yeah,
people. You just like we
hmm,
used to be in Karachi at one point, and
yeah,
all your friends there. You shifted to another city, let's say, and then
yeah,
you also see your friends just moving away.
yeah,
Um, Same goes for like rest of the people in your life. So
yeah,
yeah, I think it has to do with the more emotionally
yeah.
intense part of your life.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think आप इमोशंस भी बहुत अच्छे से समझने लगते हो लाइक you get a lot of awareness of emotions as well. Like in childhood you would only understand happiness or sadness. Now like there's so many bits of it and so many complexities within those emotions, so you get to feel everything.
Yeah, that's like the whole point
Mm.
of Inside Out.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like now that I think of it, that's the genius of it. Like because right when you were speaking, it just took me back
yeah,
to Inside Out 2, where they just introduced so many new emotions and it just
yeah,
became way more dramatic and all. And I guess yeah, that was the whole point of it was this. Yeah, so
yeah,
great job to whoever created the movies.
But
yeah,
very interesting question that Babar, you and your friends were discussing. Haris, do you
yeah.
think your childhood self would be proud of you today?
mm, I think as he said, I also didn't have much of an idea of what adult life would look like, and I mean, I obviously you just look at your parents or people around you, and you just suppose you'll be like these people. But I think in retrospect, I would say I've done a lot better, and owing it to getting out of the place I was living in, like Swabi,
Yeah,
getting out of this place and just going to Peshawar and then going to Karachi. I think
yeah,
I owe it to that. Yeah, all of it. So yeah, I think I'm doing a lot
yeah.
better than I would have expected.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think when I was younger, I always assumed I'd grow up to be an artist and I'd, like life would be limitless. Like Babar pointed out, ke limit, the concept of limit just did not exist for adults. You'd look at your parents or someone and you'd say, wow, they really have it all. They have
Yeah,
power and they can do whatever they want and all of that. And now that you're older, you're just like, like the curtain of like this whole, oh wow, it's gonna be crazy cool. It's just
yeah,
lifted, and not to say that it's not crazy cool. It's really cool to be someone who's like in their early 20s and trying to explore life, but it's also one of the most like crazy parts of life. You're not sure where your life's going to take you, and you're just sitting there trying to figure out, okay, what do I want
yeah,
to do next.
yeah,
Exactly. I think as we grew up, as you said, like our taste in movies kind of became more mature, but so did music, and
yeah,
not sure for Rija, but for Babar, I can like definitely say when we were kids, we I'm sure we listened to the same kind of music, you
yeah.
know,
We did, we
so,
did.
so
Yeah,
but as we grew up, obviously, like I mean, we are three people in this call, and like the
yeah,
three of us, I know that we have like a very completely different uh, taste in music.
Yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
was like a full on One Direction and like, you know,
yeah,
Justin Bieber and Avril Lavigne and Taylor
yeah,
Swift
but that
kind of
was for
person,
you when you were like a when you were a kid, when you were a smaller person, For us, I think it was mostly the same because we just we are like from the same place, so and
yeah.
people mostly listen to pushtu music, and pushtu music, like the typical pushtu music. Do you want to like sing some lyrics or something just to
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah. Give
think
me
I'm
some
good.
context, guys. Come on, don't be shy.
No, I think I'm good.
I know
Like
I won't
it's
understand anything, but you guys owe it to me to kind of like,
it's
at
so
least like
whack.
try.
It's so whack that it doesn't make any sense. Like they would be comparing a girl to what do they call it? Patasa, like patisa, right? Like what does that even mean,
What's a
my brother?
patisa?
Do you know patisa?
patisa, like the sweet thingy जो मिठाई टाइप कुछ होती है.
हाँ, it's a type of
Oh,
mithai.
okay, okay, okay.
हाँ.
It's batisa for us, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
patisa. In Pashto,
सही
it's
है.
patasa, but हाँ. But
Hmm.
like,
हाँ, just like
but
mixing up different languages and just
yeah. But one thing is for sure though, they used to produce bangers. Yeah, like
exactly.
those songs were bangers. Like
You
people
played in
would
a
dance the
wedding.
hell out to those
You
songs.
played in
Yeah,
a wedding. People are 80 years old. Aunties are going crazy. Just
yeah, yeah,
yeah. So I think yeah, that's we have to give them that. Uh, but yeah, like with time, obviously our somehow it matured our taste in music. Even if it didn't, I mean, it's sometimes it feels good to go back and listen to the things you used to listen to.
yeah,
You listen to a lot of hip hop music. Uh,
yeah. I do.
what what does that mean for you? Like, what's your relationship with hip hop?
Mm, I so initially like you get introduced to the more melodic stuff and all, and I did as well. But then I kind of wanted more meaning out of it. Like I wanted the lyrics to show more meaning, talk about more stuff, right? Like with Bollywood, there's like two or three overarching themes, and like people just play within that. Either it's about love or like betrayal or stuff like that. And when I first heard like some of the hip hop songs, right, it had a lot more subject matter to it. For example, I think one of the my entry points to hip hop was uh, Talhanjum's Balli Aur Main, in which he tells a story of his alter ego who's named Balli and who's doing crime out of like poverty, and then he introduced this whole angle of him telling his mother that I have money right now and I can buy you stuff. And then his friend telling that guy to like not fall for this direction, not go in this way where you have to commit crimes and all, and then he passes away. So it's like a whole story, and like the first time you listen to that song, it sort of gives you goosebumps because the way he builds that universe and the way the imagery is created. So I think that was the first one. Then I listened to one of their promo songs for Pepsi, and they were talking about like "Wujud Zan se tasveere kainat mein rang," and like they had so much. Like they are talking about saving water in a rap song, right?
Hmm.
Now this is like insane to think. Okay, this is what music can do, and I think that's like the whole point of music, that it should have deeper meaning to it. Obviously, melodies sound nice and all, and these days I listen to a lot of melodic stuff. But I think my entry point was that, and then there's this whole cool culture around it, right? That there are peoples who are interacting with each other. There are different elements of hip hop. So yeah, that's I think to sum it up.
Yeah, I think yeah, it makes sense. I mean, just like you get tired of the same themes in songs that you get from
Yeah,
like Bollywood or even the Pakistani pop singers.
yeah,
So yeah, in hip hop, obviously there's a lot more themes that they talk about. Reja uh, has been asking me this question
right.
about hip hop. Like, why is there need for the whole drama in hip hop? Like,
Yeah,
I
like I recently got introduced to like hip hop in the same way actually, like if the Parks have the same way as you did. Like I
Right.
first heard Balli or Meh with a friend of
Oh,
mine, like a colleague.
amazing.
Yeah. And like we were I think driving to like a work hang or something, and he played it in the car, and I actually did get goosebumps as well. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that's really cool.
yeah,
And after that, I started getting into it more, and like I think uh, it was basically like Tala Anjum only, and then
yeah,
after that, some of the other songs, other artists that he's collabed with. So it
yeah,
just went like that, like the.
yeah,
But the one thing that I noticed was, like there's a lot of drama. Like, okay, then
yeah,
there's this whole story with Kaun Talha, and like, okay, like, and Haris would be telling me those for context purposes, and I'd just be
yeah,
so fascinated, like why is
yeah,
this whole like the diss track kind of like a whole a big thing in this hip hop
yeah.
type. So
So I think, Balki, I believe that hip hop or rap is like the most rawest form of music, like in a way that it's literally the language of streets, and they're just saying it on a beat, right? Like there's a beat to it, there's a tempo to it, but it's mostly the people from the streets talking about the most uh, raw stuff, right? And with that there comes in, and there's a competitive element in hip hop as well, like in, for example, b-boying, right? There would be dance battles, there would be rap battles. So it's like within the nature of the genre for people to compete. It's like a sport, right? So with it comes this whole aura of everyone considering themselves the best and having these egos as well, and that can escalate and that can lead to these dramas and these sort of beefs, right? So I think it's very uh like embedded in the nature of the genre. And yeah, I think.
makes sense. I feel like
Yeah,
something that I noticed very early on, and I'd been asking Harris about it, but
yeah,
really nice take on that. I feel like, yeah, it's part of the culture, and it's also a way for people to connect more. I remember
yeah,
initially when I first started listening to hip hop, I noticed
yeah,
that the concerts that these people would have would mostly be like solo concerts, and recently
yeah,
they're just because there are so many collabs now that
right,
it's very easy for them to just host this one mega concert where everyone comes and just sings a
yeah,
few songs. And
yeah,
and their transitions, like transition from one artist to the other, would be like one of the
Hmm.
collabs that they've done.
Yeah. I think I find myself like very lucky in the sense that I witnessed some sort of like the uprisal of like the uprise of this whole genre in Pakistan and India. Like I started listening when it was like very new, like people rapping in Desi language was very new, right? So there was
Hmm.
like this borrowed element from the global sort of scene, like they would borrow elements from them to now it being a culture of its own जहाँ पे you see very less borrowed elements. पहले people used to wear those baggy pants and everything that people over there were doing, and they thought that that's the culture. And now people are becoming comfortable in their own skin. They're representing their own cities, their own pin codes, right? So I think that's a very amazing bit of it, and I feel really happy that I saw this whole scene uh
Yeah.
becoming this. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's
100%
amazing.
can see what I get what you're saying. Like, I look at how Faris Shafi dresses, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
okay, like he's bringing his own thing. He has his own
yeah,
personality with his music. It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah,
like things that like references from other places or other things. Like, okay,
yeah,
let's. But I know a lot of people. These guys are influenced by Tupac and
yeah,
other hip hop artists that started it all globally.
yeah,
And I was speaking to a friend of mine, like, and I was talking about how, what's the difference between Tala Anjum and Tala Yunus anyway. And this
yeah,
person was like, oh, the difference is that Tala Yunus ki jo sare references hai, they're all like global references from like these
yeah,
bigger artists, and Tala Anjum tries to
yeah,
create his own thing, which is why he's more
yeah,
relatable with the
yeah,
Pakistani
yeah.
audience. And
Very
I know
true.
some people are accuse him of copying stuff from, I guess, John Elier and
John,
stuff.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
guess incorporating bits of that and obviously referencing it also is
yeah,
something that lets it live, right? Like lets our poetry live
yeah,
in a different form.
yeah. That's a bit gray area of his career as well. Like rappers write their own stuff, so they don't sing stuff that other people write. That's the whole aura of a rapper. So that's a bit gray area of his, even though he
Hmm.
says stuff, and sometimes he would credit him in the lyrics sheet, but still, it's a bit gray area of his. And मुझे एक चीज जो interesting लगी, and I want to ask you guys, I feel like our music preferences change over the time, and that depends on how we feel like mentally. I feel like when I was like young, 17, 18, a lot of like rebellious nature सही है, and a lot of stuff that has to do with anger and stuff like that. I used to listen to a lot more hardcore hip hop, which would go like very rappity rap, right? And now I think as I'm getting a bit settled and becoming more peaceful in my life, I've started listening to more melodic stuff and more stuff that sounds very sweet to the ear. So I don't know if it's the case with everyone, but in my life this shift happened, and when I looked back at it, I thought this might be one of the reasons why this shift is happening. So what about you guys?
Okay,
For
so
me, I think
Babar, I feel like when I was initially like growing up, a lot of
Right,
my music taste was influenced by what other people were listening. It wasn't
right,
me really, like,
yeah,
which also symbolizes the person I was. Like I was trying to find
right,
myself and really didn't know who I was. So I guess I kind of, replicated that with my music taste as well, like just listening what
hmm,
other people are listening to. And as I grew older, I, found my own taste and like, and I feel like you're right. Uh, the state I'm in, or like the major themes of my life during a certain period kind of reflect
yeah,
very well in the type of music I'm listening to. So what
yeah,
do you think, Haris?
I think for me it was that when I was a younger person, like in my teen years, for me music was okay. Music is great, but when you were recording this or when you were writing this, did you have like any purpose? Or you just like thought, okay, or you were just making music for the sake of making music? And that
hmm,
was a defining thing for me. Like if it isn't a very purposeful thing, you don't have any meaning behind it, then I'm not interested in it. But yes, with
Mm,
time, I just let go of that thing, and now I'm just more into music that doesn't have to mean anything at all. Just
mm,
I mean, just like random noises even. But if it just feels nice to me, I think I'm good with it. I'll listen to it on loop
right,
while I'm working or something.
right.
So I think I had that thing, but I don't have that now.
You're
Yeah,
right. I feel like music has changed. Like, you know what? The question, like, what does music mean to you? I feel like that has changed over time. Like, music's purpose in our life, like, the role that music has, it's changed a lot. Like,
yeah,
initially, I'd like
Mhm.
use music as a
That's
social tool. Like, we'd be singing, like, we'd have like these, back in school, I'd have these, like, girl gangs of sorts, and we'll all be singing, like, Taylor Swift lyrics together, and it would be whole, like, a bonding moment for us, and we'd
yeah,
like write those lyrics. I know you guys can probably not relate to this, but we'd like write those lyrics down for each other, and then distribute
yeah,
it and be like, okay, let everyone memorize this for tomorrow, okay? And then we'd just like sing it along, and it will be like a whole thing, like remembering those lyrics and like singing them together. That would be like a bonding thing for us. And I
right.
think as I've grown, it's changed a lot. Like the same way that Hayes you just mentioned, like just instrumental music just for the focus
Yeah,
bit of it all, like filling the space
yeah,
of my head, that I can focus on what's at hand.
for me. It
right.
was like now that I think of it, the meaning of music has changed in the sense that for me it was music back then was, as I said, it had to be purposeful, and
Hmm,
something that it gives me like a food of thought,
hmm, hmm,
something
hmm,
that it must give me some food of thought, something for me to think about, or something for me to learn from it, or something like that. uh
hmm.
but yeah, so that was what music meant to me back then. But right now I think it's just I want like a bit like that nice warm feeling, you know
Right,
that's when I turn to music. For me now, that's the meaning of music.
right. For me, I think like the thing I mentioned, for me, music evolves with how I'm feeling. And I think I can even find more examples of that. Like the theme of music would depend on how I'm feeling at a certain. Is everything good? Oh,
Yeah, it's okay.
yeah, at certain time of life. For example, I remember this one time I was like heartbroken. That was the time period when I listened to a lot of Nusrat, like Qawwalis, वगैरह. That was when I was big on that. So yeah, I think it depends on the kind of mental state I am in.
Yeah, it makes sense. I
So
mean, at least we all went through that Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan stage.
yeah,
People
yeah,
like me, I don't know about people who listen to Taylor Swift,
yeah,
and because I mean they just don't listen to the what do you call it, like Asian music or like Eastern music,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is like a completely different thing than the Western music, like in
yeah.
just so many ways. So
I think one thing for me that matters a lot with music is the context of it. Like I have to know who the person is who is saying that stuff. Like
hmm,
anybody can say anything, but I need to know where the context is coming from. Like anybody anybody they could say a lyric and it would not be as impactful as if it would be if I knew the context to it. So for me, when I like listening to an artist or their music, I would want to go back and like dive in that rabbit hole of finding things
hmm,
about them, who they are, and what made them say that. And I think
hmm.
that gives the meaning to those lyrics. Otherwise, it's just lines and words, right?
Uh, but there's something else I want to talk about.
Yeah, please.
I mean, I know you as a creative person, and I mean, we also like sometimes work together on creative stuff. Um,
Mm.
some of them were like serious stuff, others were, you know, like in
What?
the
What? I don't remember any of that. What are you talking about?
just like doing
I think you're
anything
talking
creative,
about
like
Digita.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm also talking about other stuff. Like
Rishabh, what do you think
remember the
about the
time
name of Digita? Like,
Digita? Yeah,
what is your
exactly.
like opinion about Digita? Is she there?
I
I'm
think
sorry, I
she's
think I
there.
didn't hear your question.
Yeah. I was saying, what do you think about the name Digita? Isn't it a genius?
No, I know the story behind it, say, so don't try to trick me. Okay.
But I think
Wow.
it was a good name, and it
You know,
was almost an epiphany, we were sitting at Hatti and we're like, what should we name it? It's a digital marketing platform. And then Babar is like, it should be something that's just like very easy to say. And when you say it, the person should just know directly what this thing is. And I was like, oh, like Digita. It's like,
yeah.
oh yeah, that's that's the name.
It rolls off the tongue. Like, it's really
True.
nice.
Yeah,
It
Yeah.
is
it's a good
actually, it
name.
really is.
It's
वो it's like mine and Harris's that moment के कोई ऐसा नाम होना चाहिए जो फटाक से मुंह से निकले.
exactly. Oh, Rock
Wow.
Tuk. So it's like that Digita moment.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there was that
And
moment.
Harris told me that you guys used to make memes together on like hostel and stuff. Like there was this meme
Yeah.
that I
Don't say
forgot his
it in
name.
public. No, don't
Like
say his
someone sitting
name.
in
No, no, no,
the
no, no.
in
It
the
was an
mess or something
underground
and just
meme.
enjoying tea or something. I think that
Yeah,
was the
Yeah,
yeah,
meme.
yeah.
it's like a normal meme. There was nothing about it. Okay,
Yeah,
worth mentioning.
we shouldn't name the people.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean we worked on things. I mean it wasn't something serious, but it was still like creative stuff.
It's it's one of the funniest things I could remember from hostel. Like it's a
Exactly.
highlight almost.
The process of it is just amazing. How we were, and not just this. Like I think we also did a few other things as well.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
my point is, yeah,
Yeah.
my point is just like being creative. Like we're the kind of people who has to like take some time out and
Yeah.
be creative and do something, create something. And
Mhm.
I know you as a person who does a lot of creative work and who's like very talented at it. Um, so is there like something that you do these days? Are you just like too busy now to do anything creative? And also, uh, what does the process look like for you when you're creating something?
Yeah. Thank you so much for the kind words as well. And I've kind of lost the touch with that side of mine. Like I think um it's either the corporate if I want to blame something, or it's just me not taking enough time out. I think the last time I created something was when I made a reel when I moved to like Islamabad. I still do think a lot about creative stuff and creating something. For example, I took my friend's digicam to Peshawar this time around on Chandrat, and I shot some clips with it. So I wanted to create something out of that. But it has become a lot more about uh like capturing and filling an emotion into something. Like earlier it used to be an idea and I'd just work on it. For example, if I have to create a poster, I would just do it. Right now it's more about I want to fill in a lot of emotion into it. Like I want that thing to be emotionally appealing to me. For example, if you remember, I was working on this video called A Beautiful Dream. And that video, like, that is something I'm really proud of till this day because it has a lot of emotion in it, partly because I put in a lot of time into that, or and partly because it has all of those things that invoke a lot of emotions for me. It has my favorite people, it has my like childhood city, and a lot of that stuff. So I think right now I'm not working on a lot of stuff, but when I am, So I think about putting in emotion. So yeah, that is something. What about you guys?
I think for me, I mean, I tried doing different things. I tried writing poetry.
Oh, nice.
I tried creating. For me, writing poetry was different because for me, I used to read a lot of poetry, and at one point, I just kind of got tired. I was like, why are people not writing this kind of poetry? Like I was more into, as I said, I wanted people to create art that was purposeful, meaningful. And
Yeah.
after reading poetry for like most of my teen years, when I was in college, I just realized like why aren't people writing the kind of poetry I want to read? And that's when I thought maybe I should write, and I started writing back then.
Right.
Other than that, um, if I did something creative, like at one point, if you remember, we started creating digital artwork.
Yeah.
Uh, well, I think that also for me was about doing something meaningful and
Yeah.
go, going with at least with things that hold like held some sort of meaning for me
Yeah. I
or
remember the Manto one, the Faiz Saab one.
especially Manto and Faze and these people were a big part of when I was growing up, especially in my
Right.
teen years, like from like my ninth, 10th grade to early years of university. Uh,
Right.
so I think that's what it was for me.
I
Raja, do
guess for
you?
me, yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess for me, it's been like this that I too have experimented with a lot of things, and as someone who has ADHD, I feel like we we typically tend to have a lot of hobbies and
Mm.
like unfinished projects lying around. Like I am really into things that I get to do with my hands. I get my hands dirty with things like painting
Right.
and making like tiny things out of clay or something. I
Yeah.
recently discovered foam clay. It's very fun to play with. It's very easy to work with. Haris recently played with it, I guess, on my birthday, if you remember.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
recently, I agree with you. I've also been all about like capturing moments and memories as well. So I
Right.
have this mini blog of sorts where I just make tiny reels of like experiences or moments that happen and just post it up there. It's like a few, like an audience of like 5, 7 people, but that's enough for me. I feel
Yeah.
like that's just like my creative outlet these days because it's effortless. You just pull up your phone, record, and it's this collection of things that you could probably not put in other words, like with
Yeah.
without like investing too much time.
Yeah. I think creativity is a muscle that you have to exercise.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like if I
Because
get an idea and I start working on it, I'll get so many more ideas. But if I'm like not working on anything, I won't get any idea.
exactly, if someone tells me, why aren't you writing anymore? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, like I've just forgotten how you write things. Like
Yeah.
I've just forgotten it. And the other day, someone I know sent me something they've written, and I read it and I was like, shit, this is like amazing. Like, how did this person manage
Yeah.
to write such things? But obviously, you have to be in that headspace and not just
Yeah.
for a particular time. Because if I say I want to write, it should be like I'm just looking for ideas everywhere. I go out, I'm looking for ideas,
Yeah.
not consciously, obviously, but like subconsciously, I'm looking for ideas everywhere, and it will hit you one point or another. It will hit you and like, oh shit, this is amazing, and then obviously, yeah, once you have that momentum, na, then you can
Yeah.
just keep going, and you see so many like songwriters, let's say, just writing 10, 20 songs a day, and just like people have written
Yeah.
thousands of
Yeah.
points, and so I think just a momentum. You have to be in that headspace all
Yeah.
the time to get inspiration.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, You were going to say something?
No, just something along creativity. I was discussing this with this those same friends that day that creativity seems like such a divine gift, right? Because creating something out of like thin air, right? Like
Hmm.
just getting the idea. I feel like that's such a blessing to be able to do that, to be
Exactly.
able to create something. I feel like that's like a very divine thing that you can have. Like, yeah, I think it's very amazing. Yeah, no more words about it, but
You're right. I think you're completely right. It's kind of like you become a vessel for the universe. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
you are that person who turns things that exist around you into another form. Like it could be
yeah,
poetry, it could be like something you paint, I guess, or
yeah,
maybe like even people who like make films, short films, or like full ass films.
right,
They're recording an aspect or like this form of way someone might be living. Like even if you're watching the most dumb sitcom or something like that, it's also
yeah,
like a captured essence of a friend group maybe, or like a family.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
think there's something very beautiful about that.
yeah. I I think it has like DNA of yours. Like everything that you create is something that you could create. Obviously, there are like uh intersections where people can think of similar things, but like it's just so specific to you that only you are able to do this. Like I could go on about a few things and I'll be like, okay, this is something only I could have thought of, or matlab, it's
Hmm.
so original, it's me. I think that's the
Exactly. It has.
feeling. Yeah,
I
it's
think it has
amazing.
that sense of belonging because
Yeah,
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 you
yeah,
feel like yeah, you own this thing. This is yours. It's mine.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
will feel. I mean, people. If you go to like search like a poet or something and वो कहीं पे उसके आ जाए कि यार this is the person's grave यार this person's grave or something, we'll always see something written by them on their gravestone,
Yeah,
and it like to the extent I remember this person read this poem by Iqbal,
right,
um, which said wait, what was it? Yeah, so I actually forgot. It's like a four-line thing, and we read that thing, and it's like just like so impressed. He went to Iqbal, he met Iqbal, and then told, "Okay, you should give me this. Like, I mean, I like this so much. You should give it to me." So
mm,
what Iqbal did was he gave that four lines to him, like it's yours. I have
mm,
written it, but it's yours. And later on, like the person said, "Okay, whenever I die, you should just write these like on my the tomb, like
mm,
whatever it is." So
mm,
I mean, to the extent like you want people to remember this, that something you created, it belongs to you. So yeah, I think it's about that, like it's the ownership and something that's just
yeah,
yours.
mm.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it was amazing. It was lovely talking to you, and
Thank you,
thank you
man.
so much for joining.
Likewise.
And yeah, I think we hopefully will do it again sometime. And
Yeah,
till then, it's Allah Hafiz.
yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for having me. It was amazing, and I think we bounced off a lot of ideas. Uh,
Yeah,
and we're on same page for a lot of things, which is amazing. And yeah, we should definitely do it sometime.
exactly. Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
So what did you think, Haris?
Yeah, I think it was great. Like there's a lot that we talked about, and I'm just still kind of processing the things we
I
talked
feel like
about
I
because
feel
I
like
feel like I should still like reflect on those things that we just talked about.
yeah, I think we talked about a lot of art mediums, like films and then songs, and then like how we express ourselves creatively.
Hmm.
And I feel like it was a whole like a walkthrough of our lives, but in the form of art, and how we've experienced it, and how it has shaped the persons we become today.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it. Yeah, it helped that all three of us like to engage in creative activities, and we all could relate to whatever the other person was talking about. And yeah, I think it was a great one. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.